Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, esteemed guests, what a great turnout. I hope the conference has been a useful and fruitful one. I hope it continues on this panel. My name is Michael Sonderby. I'm Managing Director and Partner with BCGX, BCG's digital build team. Normally, I work trainers. Excited to be here today, moderate this panel on how technology and innovation, or PropTech, a term you'll hear very often, is going to shape the future of real estate. I'd just like to set the context for our panel today. Real estate, of course, is very important in the kingdom. It makes up 12% of non-oil GDP. It will increase to 15% in 2030. But economic growth is not enough. It needs to be done in a socially and environmentally sustainable manner. Some of the panels previously have touched on this. So the question then becomes, what can PropTech do to enable this growth? And what impact will PropTech have on the real estate sector in terms of those who use it, those who don't, and the industry dynamics itself? Another topic we would like to also address is how can we help accelerate the adoption of PropTech in the kingdom in a way that maximizes its positive outcomes, minimizes the negative ones, but also hopefully, or inshallah, creates national champions in this exciting space in the future. I have a great panel here with me today. Dr. Alian, quick introduction, please.
Hello, everyone. And before maybe talk about PropTech and the future of digital solution in the real estate industry, I would like to welcome everyone. Real Estate Future Forum, third version. It was a dream. Mr. Abdullah Al-Harbi and his team, His Excellency the Minister gave a full sponsorship. His Excellency the Vice Minister supervised this event from the beginning. This is the third version. Alhamdulillah, we are in the last day of the event and almost full, and other people watching us online, which a great success. Secondly, this is came from a great support from our leadership. So we are living in, I think, a great moment. I thank God that I'm in this moment of Vision 2030. And as one of the speakers said yesterday, guys, you are lucky, young, educated generation who loves their country and have a very supportive and empowerment government. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, and really appreciate this opportunity to be speaking in this important event, shedding the light on the future of the real estate market or industry here in Saudi Arabia and the region. My name is Hudayf Afani. I'm the co-founder and Chief Product Officer of Suhail. We are working on providing the real estate market players with insights and analytics, hoping to democratize the access to real estate data in the market. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ivo van Broekelen. I'm a managing partner at the PropTech Connection, and we are an independent strategic PropTech advisory that supports both investors as well as real estate companies by benchmarking and getting access to the leading technologies globally in both real estate and construction.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. This is me, Umar, CEO and founder of Narsan Studios. I run one of the largest Unreal Engine and AR, VR studio and having our offices in Dubai, Pakistan, now Alhamdulillah in Saudi as well, and working in USA. So right now we are also working on some of the mega projects happening in the region and giving them the digital walkthroughs over there.
Fantastic. I'd like to start with you, Ivor. PropTech as a term is a liquid one. Many have a different understanding of it. I would love if you could share your view of what it is, but I think more importantly also discuss what are the key growth drivers of PropTech that you are seeing globally and here in the kingdom.
Super. Well, thank you for the question. I think it's a very valid question, and it's actually a question that we get asked quite a bit. So for us, PropTech. It's a simple catch-all term for any technology impacting space and how we live, consume, and use that space effectively. The complex answer is that it's a constantly evolving beast, given the nature of real estate and obviously how it's transitioning now, especially post-COVID. If you look at a few things, obviously, that have been happening, you see people working from home, you see the hotelization of offices, and you obviously also start to see that the new digital world is really taking shape. As such, this means that the amount of technologies that are being used and applicable to real estate and construction have significantly increased over the last years. At the PropTech Connection, we are having visibility over 18,000 startups in the space, and over the last 2 years, this number has increased from 15,000 to 18,000. With regards to some of the drivers that we're seeing in the market, we would say that it's very specific to the geography. So if you, for example, look in the US market, it's very much about efficiencies and driving transactions. In Europe, on the other hand, you see that there's a lot of regulatory pressure in terms of sustainability and ESG, and 50% of all the funding in PropTech startups is coming through the European Investment Fund. As such, you see a very strong drive in some of these leading climate technologies. In Europe and in India or Pakistan, for example, you see a very strong focus on software capabilities. And if we then look macro, you see the migration of labor. For example, in Asia and APAC, you see 5 million people moving from non-urbanized environments to cities every single year. This is obviously a huge driver of tech. Also, you start to see, obviously, specifically in Europe and the US, where you see repurposing of space. Offices, high vacancy rates in the US, and now owners are transforming that into residential units, for example.
Great. So very different drivers regionally, but I think the term that you have is also one that really sets the stage. This is very much a future technology. It's not just about construction of the buildings, it's also the maintenance, the evolution of it, so really something which will be lasting for many, many decades. Umar, I would like to go into the technology realm here. I mean, you are a prop tech player. Tech is obviously a big part of that. In your opinion, what do you see as the key technologies and I think also use cases that will really shape real estate in the future?
Yeah, so regarding to the use cases, I'll put my point on two major points which are evolving around is generative AI and metaverses. So talking about the metaverses, it has multiple use cases. So like having up a virtual walkthrough, as previously there was just like bad quality 3D videos which normally sales agents used to send to their customers. So now they can ultimately give them the ultra realistic experience to have them the virtual walkthroughs over there. And even though when you go to the sales center and majorly for the off-plan projects, they don't have anything to showcase to them because nothing is built up over there. So now they can have the big screens over there and create the whole walkthrough as a virtual and showcase them what exactly is going to build up after 3 to 4 years and give them the experience over there. Then there's a use case comes up for the live agents, like within the metaverse, they can have the live agents giving them the experience as a personalized experience within the metaverse and showcasing them and explaining them which area is going to be sold out and what area is over there. So, and also there are one of the best use case which I find out is the live auctions. Like you can have showcase the virtual events and also virtual worlds, but also have the live bidding and live auctions for those events. And if we go deep down to the generative AI, so generative AI, I love the tool Midjourney. Like initially where you used to get the concepts to hire a human capital, but now as a real estate developer, initial concepts can be done by these initial tools. And then even though within our company as Narsen Studios, what we're doing is we're building up a 3D environment making platform where you just give them the prompt and it gives you the 3D model of the building. So you don't have to go back to the major human resource capital. You can itself, by yourself, have that generative AI tool to build up all those 3D models, just giving them the prompt. So there are multiple of use cases which are coming up into the technology, but because of the limited time, I just have to deep down to the major ones. So in my perspective, these are the ones which are playing a major role in this real estate sector.
Huzaifa, maybe also future technologies. What do you feel could also move the market, the industry, in the next 5-10 years?
Yeah, I think moving forward, we will see, with the more room that the government is giving to the private sector, we will be able to see a variety of real estate solutions, digital platforms like fully digitalized marketplaces that will facilitate real estate transactions by mashing up the real estate offerings with data insights and analytics. Definitely, it will be like one of the areas that we will see more solutions in the market in the upcoming years.
Staying with you, Huzaifa, you are out there pitching your business. When you pitch to your customers or potential customers, what do you focus on when you want to really emphasize current and future impact? And how do you feel they're reacting to it? Do they adopt it quickly, or does it take some time for it to settle?
Yeah, definitely. So when it comes to introducing data-intensive solutions to the customers, like what we do in Suhail, it's all about showing the value. What we do, we show the hidden patterns and trends in the real estate data of the market, and also we help the customers to explore these patterns from their own data. Recently, we've been working with the Saudi housing program. It's one of the core pillars in the Vision 2030, and we've been working with them by providing insights and analytics from the real estate market data, and also we worked with them to build different use cases to address the what-if scenarios, like what will be the impact of the increment of interest rates on the rates of home ownership? What will be the impact of all these announcements about mega projects, about the real estate prices in different neighborhoods? In addition to that, we will help the customers. We will show the value of real estate data when it comes to outsmarting the competition. We've been working with a major bank here in Saudi Arabia, and as you know, it's not always a straightforward case to show them the value, so we provided a proof of concept for them to tell them, okay, if you targeted these specific locations, when it comes to deploying a new branches and ATMs, you will have like 50% access and reach to your customers and the future customer bases. Yeah. So by doing so, you just cut the path to the value for the customers.
Yeah. I think you're also touching on an important point around how do we get better data. If we fast forward, digital twins are going to be important, and for them to be able to really have an impact, whether it's on how we plan, how we redevelop, we need that data. So it needs to start, incrementally, and then be aggregated up. So I think it's, you're showing us also what the future is going to move towards. Digital twins, I think, is an interesting one. Dr. Olayan, I think we're talking now about the positive impacts of technology. You have expertise and innovation across a lot of industries. So I would like to sort of explore with you, what do you see of some of the downsides of PropTech, and what can we do innovation-wise to overcome
them? Before I answer the question, I want to say it in Arabic. على فكرة يا أخوان، ترى في سماعات للترجمة بالخلف، اللي محتاج يعني الترجمة ترى متوفر. So back to your question, I will call it not negative or downside. I will call it opportunity. As you know, we are just touching the surface of real estate opportunity or opportunities in real estate to not only digitalize it, but to innovate in it and find a better way to do this service or to provide this industry with a new solution. The real estate value chain is huge, similar to any other industry. most of the effort and most of the work happening now around the main activities in the value chain. So Suhail doing great job here in Saudi Arabia with analyzing the data and helping maybe in the sales or other decision. Aifo with his team also. Amr doing great services for the marketing and the sales side. However, maybe most of us came from digital background or innovation background, but we need to invent and do a lot of effort in the main activities. We still encourage the real estate subject matter. People who are sitting now and listening to us, people came from innovation background and digitalization or other, have the capability and the knowledge of managing and operate the innovation, just like you now moderating our session. But we need the expertise, we need the subject matter expert to work together and find the solution. I think Instagram or most of the solution that deal with the users, with normal consumers, they called it garage innovation. You can sit at your home and invent in it. But big change like in oil and gas or real estate, some of the the main activities like the building technology need a corporate innovation, need a team up. I'm not saying it's not a startup job. It could be, but need a collaboration even between the government and the private sector. And there is a great example in the internet invention where the government of USA set this goal and work together with private sector until we reach today internet like electricity, become utility.
Thank you. I think you're touching on an important point across all industries and digital, which is there has to be a mindset shift in order to really tap into the potential here and overcome some of the challenges. Just very quickly, Ivo, from your perspective, prop tech and its impact on real estate. Do you think that the players can adopt what Aurélien is sharing in terms of that mindset, or do you see that there's going to be a big shift because of these disruptive technologies and ways of working and mindset?
So I think from our perspective at the PropTech Connection, sourcing technology without an ROI is absolutely pointless. So what we see with we have really good visibility about what's happening with real estate companies in the US, Europe, but what we particularly see here in Saudi Arabia is that there's a very strong desire to use technology, but it's actually very hard to understand the ROI of adopting tech. So which companies are out in the market? What is working where in the world? Benchmark these against one another. So we believe ROI is everything that matters. Secondly, I would say we start to see here in the Saudi market that there's a number of developers and real estate companies wanting to be ahead of the market. So looking into setting up data platforms and just trying to have a strategic advantage over others. But then thirdly, it's also very hard if you're looking to source tech. One, there tend to be many different stakeholders involved in the decision-making process. And two, it's very difficult to get access to the market, because where do you start? And one of the challenges that we see here in the Saudi market, there's a very strong desire to use technology, but the local ecosystem is pretty small. So you need to look into foreign businesses and understanding which technologies are best suited for you. And finding that ROI is often challenging. But also at the same time, we believe that Saudi Arabia, given their significant real estate pipeline, has an incredible opportunity to become the real estate technology leader globally, leveraging obviously all these new projects that are in the pipeline. And lastly, what I would say is, while working on that ROI and looking for suitable tech, what we believe it's really important to ask the right questions early on the process. When you're sourcing for technology, the best prop tech adopters are the companies that are able to identify what is most important to them, put a hierarchy of need in place, and then match that with all the suitable solutions in the market.
Fantastic. I'd like to move on to what we see as some of the barriers of PropTech adoption and what we can do to really accelerate it. Ivo, again with you, what do you see as the key barriers to adoption globally and in KSA very briefly?
I think it's a really good question. I would start here locally. I think here is a matter of access. There's many companies in our network that are very interested to enter the Saudi market, tech companies, but they don't know where to start. There's cultural changes, there's language barriers, legally don't know where to start. So we think being able to bridge those two worlds, we think is really important. And then two, I think it's working with advisory businesses that have a good understanding on the market, giving insights what's happening and using that tech locally. From a global perspective, what I will say is that we see a lot of large asset owners in the US, but also Asia and Europe, spending significant amount of capital in technology, oftentimes with very mixed results. As a result of that, we think that technology companies are going to become real estate companies instead of real estate companies becoming tech companies.
I think you're also touching on what you were mentioning before. I mean, the importance of a mindset, if, for them to come here and also for the local ecosystem to begin to explore what they can actually add in terms of the value.
I think if you allow me, maybe
Please.
a comment here. Agree with you, I 400%. And I think one of the challenge, PropTech is new, and it need people to try it and test it. But in Saudi Arabia, alhamdulillah, we have, let me say, positive barriers or positive or great challenge, because most of the people in delivery mood. People are fast and they want to deliver. I remember in one of the visits to one of the Giga project CEO, the CEO said, I'm in delivery mode, I need somebody to help me. But to adapt a new technology or a new solution, need R&D, need, especially for real estate, you cannot apply a new solution without testing. So that challenge is, people are in delivery mode and we are providing a new technology. So I think we need, from the PropTech side, maybe we need to be patient with them and do the test for them and come with the result.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And if we look at other industries, you can take, for example, the shipping industry. A very traditional, asset-heavy industry. It took a long time for them to really take on digital. Yes. It took a couple of big players, prove the value, and then sort of the wave sort of, just grew with it. And I think that the analogy you have here is exactly that. So as a final question to all the panelists, I mean, we're talking about some of the barriers, but sort of, if you could just individually just share, what do you feel is the one big unlock to really help PropTech companies grow? But I think just as important, if not more, their customers to see the value of it and really build a more sort of symbiotic relationship where the disruption that you mentioned, Ivo, is minimized and is preempted, because that was essentially what's happened in many other industries. Would you?
You should put me last to cheat from them. I mentioned already one opportunity, that closing the gap between engineers, between subject matter expert and digital people. I think, in my opinion, one of the opportunity, or one thing that if we unlock it, big belief from the VC side, from the venture capital, there is a huge focus on other solution, platform solution, and other heavily industry solution are not the focus of the investors yet. I'm encouraging them. It has more opportunity than other, but it takes time. As you said, heavy industry like shipment or real estate, it takes time. Container, I will mention a story here. You know the container in the ships. Everybody knows this is a great solution. Everything in one place and you put it in the ship. But it took 21 years to be approved. to be part of the system of shipping. Now we said how they used to do that by one piece. So it takes time. So the one who make startup survive until the business owner believe in it is investor.
Yeah.
So if we unlock that, I think it will move forward faster.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, so I think enablement is a big challenge here. The reality of the real estate market is changing. Looking back 4 or 5 years ago, the government took the initiative to establish and to push, let's say, digital solutions in the real estate market. They established nationwide platforms like EJAR and WAFI. And we would love to see the government is moving faster to the position of focusing more on regulations and enablement for PropTech new players to open up the market for new players from the private sector, the local one, and also the international one. I think doing so, we will be able to see an accelerated, let's say, growth in the number of innovative solutions established in the real estate market here.
I think an interesting thing we always like to mention is that real estate and construction, after fishing and hunting, are the least digitized industries. So it has always been a very traditional kind of industry where, you know, business as usual, things were going well. Post-COVID, a lot of things have obviously changed. This will remain the same, but what we believe is that the real estate businesses that are lagging behind in the digital journey will go out of business. So it's not an option if you want to use tech, it's a requirement to become successful. And then secondly, we think that some of the major players in Silicon Valley, the big tech companies, are likely coming into the real estate domain as well.
As being ourselves working into different countries like US, Dubai, and other ones, what I love about this country is there's a lot of opportunities right now, and this nation is so ambitious. And we see ambition in the giga projects like NEOM and Qiddiya, which is happening in the region. So there is a lot of opportunities, even though provider like us, and also like all of us as a panelist, that we have to collaborate together to work on the nation ambition and work on the vision of 2030. And also I love about this nation is that this nation is always craving for the new technologies, and they are really easy to adopt, and they are so much tech savvy about it. And the last thing is about the government support and regulations. So they are also so helping into hand, because we just finished our processes with the Ministry of Investment to establish the company, and the processes were so smoother, and the regulations were also helping us in throughout it, that it ultimately gave us an opportunity to establish the studio here and start working for the ambition.
So a good measure of patience, but also incentivizing the private sector at the same time, continuing what the public sector is doing in terms of really motivating, supporting, and then having a good holistic approach also from the developer, the contractor side, to make sure that it's being adopted and used. I think that all makes a lot of sense. I think a good proxy, an interesting number is VC investments in PropTech was $50 million last year, and expected to be 75 in 2030. So there is something to be done. Yes. A lot of potential, a lot of opportunity. And with that, I'd like to wrap up the panel. Thank you very much to the panelists for the great inputs, the preparation, to the organizers for this amazing stage, and of course, above all, this fantastic audience for your time and your interest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.